This conference will now be recorded.
In continuation with the Power Query Editor, what we did in our previous session, let's see some more options in Power Query Editors. So first what we'll do is we'll go to this data, get data, we'll take one file. In this session, we'll learn about how to merge the data and append the data. So we had seen some examples on how to append. So what we'll do is we'll see how we can append the data in Power Query. Let's say open. We have this append query. I'm selecting this file, say import. So it will get connected with all the sheets or the tables what we have in that file. Let's take, I'll select all these files. The same example we had done in our data modeling session as well. Say for pivot tables when you're creating, we used to take this. Now what we'll do is we'll take this to Power Query Editor. From there we'll append the data and then we'll bring back to Excel. So here I'll say transform data. Now we are in Power Query Editor. All those three sheets, whatever we had here, so I'll get those three sheets here. That is the tables. Now here we have something called as append queries. When I click on this arrow, you can see that there are two options. One is append queries and append queries as new. When I click on this append queries, it will append the data for this selected table here. But let's create a new file or say new table. I'll click on this append queries as new. When I click on that append queries as new, I'll get this option, that is appending of the data. So here we have two options. One is two tables, three or more tables. When I click on these two tables, I can append two tables here. Append means appending data one below the other. Now I'm selecting this append table, that is the table 1, and I'll select table 2. This is for just two tables. If I say OK, only two tables will be appended, that is, it will combine two files. But what if I want to combine more than two files? Then we'll go here, append queries. I'll say append queries as new, and then we can select three or more tables. Let's select table 1, table 2, and table 3. Here already we had selected this append 1, the new table which we created. I don't want this. I can remove this table, and if I say OK, all the three tables will be combined one below the other. This is appending. So let's close this and let's go back to our Excel sheet. Here all those files what we imported, which we connected, will be loaded here now. So this is very simple to append the data, that is what files or say what data we have imported. All right. Next is we'll see how we can merge the data. Merge is creating relationship. Let's connect a table. Here we have one workbook called as merge data. Let's say import, and we'll take these two tables and we'll go to Power Query Editor. Merging means it is combining by columns. That is, we are trying to have relationship between different tables. Now here we have two tables, table 1 and table 2. Let's understand the data in these two tables. So when I go to this table 1, here I have the columns, that is order ID, segment, ship mode, and sales. And if you see the data here, I have the ID from 001 up to 025. Let's take the second table as well. Here I have this order ID, region, category, subcategory, quantity. And the IDs what I have is 001 up to 110. But here if you see, the common records between these two tables are 001 up to 015. That means only 15 records are matching between these two tables. But in this table, say table 2, we have 101 up to 110, that is 10 records which are not matching. In table 1, I have 10 records which are not matching. But what I actually want is I want to combine these two tables and create as one table. Let's go to this merge queries. If you click on this arrow, we'll get two options, merge queries as new. When you click on this merge queries, that means the existing table, whatever is there, we are trying to merge here and the data will be available in this table itself. But what we are trying to do is we are trying to create a new table itself. So let's click on this merge queries as new, and it will ask for the tables to merge. Now it will ask for table 1 and table 2. It is very simple actually. The table 1 what we have here on top, this is the left table, and table 2 what we have here is the right table, and we have the columns here. In that, order ID in first table and order ID in the second table are common. The order ID columns are common and the records 001 up to 015 is common. Then rest 10 records from first table and 10 records from second table are unmatched. That is, they are not matching. When I'm actually creating the relationship, or say we are merging the data, there are 6 different ways where I can merge. We'll work on all these 6 types. Let's go and select first with the inner join. So when I say inner, this inner will actually connect between these two tables, but only the matching records will be taken. We know that the matching records, there are only 15 records which are matching. So when I'm taking this as inner join, it says only matching rows will be taken from both the tables. Let's say OK. If I say OK, you can see that I'm getting 15 records here from both the tables. The second table, if you see, it says merge table 2. Here I'll get only something called as table. If you want to get the data, here we have one small icon which says merge. You can just click on this. It'll ask which all columns I need to merge. Let's select all the columns. I'll say OK. You can see that I'm getting 15 records from both the tables and only matching records. If you want, you can just rename this table as inner. Next type of merging is, let's go here, say, click on this merge queries as new. Let's select table 1 and I'll select table 2 and we'll connect these two tables by order ID. This time I'll take this as left outer join. When I say left outer join, it says all from first matching from second. That means this is the left table. When I'm using this left outer, that means all the records from this first table, that is, there are 25 records. All the 25 records will be taken from first table and only matching records from second table. That is, the number of matching records are 15 from the second table, that is the right table. So the rest of the data what we are getting from first table will be null values, that is blank. Let's say OK. If you see that I'm getting this table, I'm getting all the 25 records. Here we'll click on the small icon here and say OK. You can see that for the records which are not matching in the first table, that is the left table, in the second table we'll get null values. So this will be left join. I'll say left join. Similarly, we have right join. Merge queries as new, and we'll select first table and second table. We'll connect these two tables by using this order ID, and now we'll select right outer join. In this case, all the records from table 2 will be taken and only matching records from left table will be taken. Say OK. Now you can see that I'm getting 15 records and here I have one blank record here. I'll say merge Go here, say okay. You can see that the 10 records which are not matching will be null in the left table. Let's make it as right join. Next is full outer join. What this full outer join will do is it will get the records from both the tables. Let's take table 1 and table 2. I'll select the order IDs to connect, and here if you select this full outer join, all the records from first table, all the records from second table will be taken, but the complete record will be 15 records which are matching. The unmatched records, whatever is there, that will be blank or say null in both the tables. You can see that it says full outer, all rows from both. Let's say okay. Now you can see I'm getting some null record here. Click on this merge and say okay. You can see 15 records which are matching will have the complete record. 10 records from right table which are not matching will have the null values in the left table, and same thing happens for the right table which are not matching with the left table here. This is full outer. Right. Next one is we have something called as left anti and right anti. So what this will do is if you want to get the records, only the unmatched records should be taken, either from left table or from the right table. Let's go here. We have this left anti or right anti. So what this will do is it will give me only the unmatched records. Here I'll select table 1 and table 2. Let's select this left anti. You can see that left anti means all the records, whatever is there, that is unmatched, say records will be taken. Let's say connect order ID, say okay. You can see that I'm getting only those records which are not matching with the second table. Let's say okay, you can see that I'll get only none. So in case if you think that I want to get only unmatched records, you can use this. This is for left anti. Let me just name it left anti. Similarly, we have right anti where we'll get all the records which are unmatched records or say unmatched values from first table and second table. Selecting this right hand. You can see that rows only in second table. Say okay. And now I'll say merge. Say okay. So I'll get those 10 records which are not matching from the left table. So this one, say right. So we can select the records or we can extract the records like this by merging. And suppose if you think that I want to create some reports, going to Excel, just say close. And if you go back here, we can see all the queries what we created will be available in Excel sheet. So depending on your requirements, we can use any of these kind of joins and we can take the data to Excel and then we can start creating the reports. You can see that all the tables what we just created will be available in Excel like this. Right, so this is merge and append. Let's see some more options. Go to this data, get data. Now we'll see how to use this pivot and unpivot, or we'll see split first. Let's select this split, say okay. Select the split, transform. After this, we'll see how to pivot and unpivot. Right, so I have a table here where I need to split the data. Let's say I have this split by delimiter. Suppose I have a data and I have to split this by delimiter. What are delimiters? Delimiter is nothing but the character which will separate the text. Here I have a delimiter that is hyphen. I'll select this and then we have the split column. There are so many different options. We'll go one by one. If you want, you can make a duplicate also here. If you think that we need this for some more examples, so split columns, select this and let's click on this delimiter. It'll ask for the delimiter. By default, it'll go and it'll check and automatically it'll give me the delimiter, the character. Here it is taking as hyphen. And we have different options here: left most delimiter, right most delimiter, and each occurrence of the delimiter. When I say each occurrence, so wherever we have these hyphens, that will be splitted. Say OK. You can see that the columns get splitted like this. Split by characters. We can specify the number of characters and then we can split this. Let's click here and say split by number of characters. I'll say I want to split the columns by 3 characters or 4 characters, whatever you want. And repeatedly means every 3 characters, after every 3 characters, the columns will be splitted like this. You can see that every 3 characters, it will just split like this. Split by position. I can specify the position and then I can split the columns. Say, let's go here. I'll say starting column should start from 0, comma. Then 0 is nothing but the index will start from 0. Say 0, 1, 2. Then the next column should start from 3. Then say 3 and 4. Then after that, I should start from 5th index. Say OK. You can see that first 3 characters, the next 2 characters, and the next characters, whatever is there, it will get splitted like this. We can split the column by lowercase to uppercase as well. Go to the split, and here I'll say lowercase to uppercase. You can see that the lowercase and uppercase here. It will get automatically splitted. Similarly, we have uppercase to lowercase as well. Split, and I'll click on this uppercase to lowercase. You can see that uppercase and lowercase data will be splitted like this. We can also split by number to text as well, that is digit to non-digit. Let's go here. We have this digit to non-digit. The next we have non-digit to digit as well. So if you have any data and if you think that I want to split this data in the format whatever I want, I can just do like this. This is by splitting of the columns. Now let's go to this another table what we duplicated. All the data whatever I just split, the columns what we split was actually creating a different columns. But sometimes what will happen, we need to split and put that into different rows. Let's go to the split column. I'll say split by delimiter. Here I'm splitting, and here what's happening is it is creating different columns. But I want this to be split and put that in different rows. Click on this advanced options. Here it says split into columns. Click on the split into rows. And here you can just give any code characters or anything, just leave it as is, whatever. Say I'll say rows, and then say OK. You can see that the data which gets split will be in different rows. Now you can see that there are 3 different rows which gets created because the delimiter is splitting into 3 different parts. So all this will be in different rows. Now if I close this will come back to my Excel sheet. All the data what we have modified will be in my Excel sheet. Right. Next is we'll see how we can use this pivot tables. Let's remove this. I'll just close this. Let's go to this data and we'll take the data from file. Let me take the data of pivot table. Pivot columns. We can do the pivot tables in Excel sheet itself, but we'll see how we can use this pivot option in Power Query Editor. So I've taken 2 tables here, that is pivoting of columns, that is multiple column or single column. Let's select this single column. I want this category to be in column wise. The headings, whatever is there, furniture, office supplies, technology, should be in column headers, something like column headers where we move this to pivot and create this something like a matrix. Select the column, just you don't have to select the entire column, just be in this column. Go to this transform, and here we have an option pivot column. Click on this pivot column. Once you click on that, it asks for the value field. Say value column, I'll say sales. Just say OK. You can see that the data which was in column wise will become like row wise. So it will become like a column headers here. The data which was furniture, office supplies, technology in records will become like a column headers now. Let's go to another table. We'll see another example. If you go and check this, here I have this January, February, March. I want this month, the order month, whatever is there. This has to become like a column headers. Selecting this, go to this transform and click on this pivot column. Same option here, it asks for the value field. I'll say sales. Say OK. You can see that the entire table, whatever is there, the column which was for month will become like a header like this. So you can decide. Suppose if the data, whatever is there, it's in record wise, I need to move that as a column headers. You can use this Power Query Editor pivot column options. Now, if I close this, the entire data, what we just modified in Power Query Editor, the queries will be loaded here and we can start creating the reports. Right, you can see that the data has been modified like this. Next is unpivoting. Suppose if there is a data which is already pivoted, so the data what we have in column, I need to get that into rows. Then we can use unpivot. Let's select the file unpivot columns. And select all these three tables, which are of three different examples what we can take. Let's say transform data. Now we'll see how we can unpivot. Unpivot means bringing the column headers to a row. Suppose sometimes what will happen, I have the data like this. I want to bring all these headers, whatever is there, the furniture, office supplies, and technology, to record wise, that is row wise. Select all these three columns. I've selected these columns. Go to transform. Here I have this unpivot columns. Here we have this unpivot columns, other columns, only selected columns. Let's say I will click on this unpivot columns. You can see that the data which was there, say column wise, now it will become like record wise. If you think that you want to change this heading, double click and I'll say category like this. Now if I close this, the same thing will be available in my Excel sheet. Right. Unpivot selected columns. Suppose if you think that I want to unpivot only one column or say only selected columns. For example, I want only this office supply should be unpivot. Select this, go to this transform. Here I have this unpivot columns. Say unpivot only selected columns. You can see that only that column will be unpivot here. Unpivot other columns. Here I have so many columns and here I have this month. Let me just make a duplicate of it. Right. Here I have so many months data. I want all these month to be in record wise now. One thing I have to do is I have to select all the columns and then say unpivot. Instead, what I'll do is I'll just select only this region. Here I have this unpivot columns. I'll say unpivot other columns. That means except this column which you have selected, all the other columns will be unpivoted. You can see that I'm getting this data like this. But we should also keep one thing in mind. When I unpivot, you can see that here I have this January, February, March, April, May, June, up to August we have. Let's go and see this data, original data. We have this January, February, March, but if you go and check after August, we can see that null values are there. When I'm unpivoting, what will happen is all these null values will be ignored, and when I'm taking this as record wise, those null values will be ignored here. So I'm having from January to August, September data up to December is not available because there is null value. What if I want to get those values as well? That is September to December, but let it be as zero values, but I don't want to miss those records. So in that case, what we should do is select all the columns, hold shift, and you can just select all the columns. We can use this replace values. Here it says replace values. Replace all the null values with zero. It asks for values to find. I'll say null. Type null. Don't put double quotes and all. Just say null. Replace with zero and say OK. You can see that all the values which were actually null will become zero now. Now let's go and do the same example. I'll select this region and say unpivot other columns. You can see that January to August we have data. September to December it is saying zero. So in this previous example, if you go here, the September to December data is not there because it was null values. All right, now just close and load. The entire data, whatever is there, we just modify, that will be loaded in my Excel, and then I can further create any reports I want. So it will take some time because it has to refresh all the queries. Now I'm getting all the modified data here. All right. Let's assume I have one data, but I need to generate serial numbers for that. There are so many ways where we can generate serial numbers, but in Power Query Editor, we have an option of generating the serial numbers very quickly and very easily. So we have one option called as index. Let's select this, say transform data. I want to generate the index number. In Excel also, we can just say 1, 2, and then drag it, we get the index number. But in Power Query Editor, we have a option that is to generate the index numbers automatically. So how to get these index numbers? It's very simple. Go to this add column. Here we'll have this index column. If you click here, there are different options, that is from 0, from 1, and custom. When I say from 0, a new column is added, and you can see that the index starts from 0 to whatever number we have here, the number of records. Suppose I want to start the index number from 1, then I can go here. I'll say from 1. You can see that the index number starts from 1. But you also have an option of customizing this index number, that is I can specify from where the number has to start and also what is the number I should increase. Say for example, I want to start the index from 101 and the increment should be 5. Say OK. We can see that I'm getting the number like this, say 101 plus 5, 106 plus 5, 111. So it goes on like this. So likewise, I can modify my data. I can add some index number also here. This we can do in Excel as well. I'm just telling you in Power Query Editor, we have this option, so we can create something like this. Let's close this, load it, and the entire data, whatever we modified, that will be available in my Excel sheet. And then I can create any reports if you want, you can create by using this data which we modified from Power Query Editor. So these are some of the options what we have in Power Query Editor. Still, there are so many we can explore. So as and when we get the requirement, depending on the requirements, if you want to modify anything, we can go to Power Query Editor and we can modify the data. But now by using this Power Query Editor, most of the options, say automations or anything which we used to write the macros and then get the data, like appending of the data, or it can be merging of other data, that can be reduced because easily we have options in Power Query Editor to work on so many options without using macros.